Adam Tiaz is currently navigating the Strand Drive section, still searching for his first time lap as we count down to just over 71 minutes remaining in this practice session. Joshua Picton is now into the Sunset Drive section, still without a registered lap time as the clock shows just over 71 minutes left in practice.
This early on, it's all about finding that rhythm. I remember those first laps in practice, especially in a technical section like Sunset. You're just looking for confidence, not outright pace.
Adam Tiaz is now in the Sunset Drive section, still working on his first time lap with 70 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. Michael Faber-Harder is currently in the Strand Drive section, still seeking a lap time as we tick down to 70 minutes and 21 seconds left.
Strand Drive is a section where you can really start to feel out the car's balance at speed. I always used it to build momentum before pushing harder later in the session.
Sten Wallstrom, currently P2, is through T7 with a best lap of 152.214, great early pace from him.
That's a solid marker lap. T7 is a quick one, so carrying good speed through there really sets up the next sector nicely. It shows he's already found a comfortable balance.
Adam Tiaz is now in the T10 section, still patiently building up to his first time lap of the session. Joshua Picton continues his out lap, currently in the Central Avenue section, yet to register a lap time in this practice session.
Central Avenue is quite a long straight, a good place to check engine performance and aero balance before the heavier braking zones. Early laps often involve just getting a feel for the car under load.
Phil Bodkin is currently P1, setting the pace with a 146.614, and he's now through Central Avenue.
A 146.614, that's a seriously quick first timed lap. It shows he's found the sweet spot very early on. Central Avenue allows for a moment to breathe before the next set of corners, but that time suggests he's already pushing hard.
Adam Tiaz now has a time on the board, a 149.810, putting him in P4 as he navigates T7. Phil Bodkin remains at the top of the leaderboard with his 146.614, now in the T11 section. Sten Wallstrom improves his time to a 1:49.730, now P3, and he's currently in the Lauderway section of the track.
Lauderway is a deceptively tricky part of the circuit. It might look straightforward, but getting the entry speed and exit perfectly right can shave off crucial tenths, so it's good to see him finding more pace there.
Adam Tiaz is currently in the Strand Drive section, holding P4 with his 1:49.810. Joshua Picton is on their practice out lap, warming up the tires.
This out lap is crucial for setting up the car's systems and getting a feel for the track.
Joshua Picton is still on his out lap, through T11 and yet to set a time, with just under 66 minutes left in the session.
He's taking his time, which isn't unusual for a first run. T11 is a good test of the car's stability under braking before you commit to a fast entry into the next section.
Adam Tiaz, currently P4, has completed his lap and is now in Central Avenue with a 1:49.810.
That's a consistent run for Tiaz. Holding P4 this early is a good sign. It means he's found a baseline he can build on. Central Avenue is a chance to check tire temperatures and engine parameters.
Sten Wallstrom finds more time, a 1:48.629 now puts him into P3, and he's currently navigating the T6 section.
T6 is a corner where you really need to be precise on the throttle to carry speed. Improving his time there shows he's getting more confident with the car's grip through the mid-speed sections.
Phil Bodkin remains on top, his 1:46.614 still the benchmark as he's currently in the T13 section.
He's just flying out there. T13 is one of those corners where you can gain or lose a lot of time depending on how you commit to the turn-in. To maintain that pace, he's clearly got the car perfectly balanced.
Michael Faber-Harder moves up to P2, a great lap of 1:47.683, and he's now making his way through Central Avenue.
That's a significant jump up the order. To be within a second of the leader this early, especially after just setting his first time, shows real intent. Central Avenue gives him a chance to cool things down before the next push.
Adam Tiaz is currently in the T5 section, holding P4 with his 1:49.810 as we have just over 63 minutes left. Phil Bodkin is still the quickest man on track, his 1:46.614 keeping him in P1 as he passes through T5. Michael Faber-Harder remains in P2 with his 1:47.683, now entering the Central Avenue section. Adam Tiaz improves his lap time to a 1:48.364, moving him up to P3 as he navigates T3. Sten Wallstrom is currently P4 with a 1:48.629, now in the Central Avenue section. Michael Faber-Harder continues to hold P2 with his 1:47.683 as we approach the 1-hour mark in practice. Jareth Hallam is now on track in the Strand Drive section, yet to register a time lap, with just under 60 minutes remaining. Michael Faber-Harder now holds P3 with his 1:47.683, currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's still showing strong pace out there. Strand Drive is a good place to test the car's high-speed stability and aero package, and he's clearly got it working well to maintain that position.
Phil Bodkin is still untouchable at the top, a 1:46.614 is his best, and he's now through T13.
He's just absolutely flying. Maintaining that kind of pace through T13 means he's perfectly on the limit, which is exactly what you want to be doing in a practice session to build confidence for qualifying.
David Johnston is on track now, in the Central Avenue section, but still without a registered lap time for the session.
This is likely his outlap. Central Avenue is a great place to get a first feel for the car's top speed and engine mapping before really pushing into the faster corners.
Joshua Picton logs his first time, a 1:50.173, putting him in P6 as he navigates the Sunset Drive section with exactly 58 minutes left. A rapid lap from Jareth Hallam puts him into P2 with a 1:47.170, and he's now through T12. Sten Wallstrom is currently P5 with a 1:48.629, now navigating the T3 section.
T3 is one of those early corners that can really dictate your rhythm for the rest of the lap. To be holding P5 with that time suggests he's not quite extracting everything yet, but he's got a solid baseline to work from there.
Daniel Kochish has joined the track, in the Strand Drive section, yet to put a time on the board. Phil Bodkin is now P2 with a 146.614, still a very strong time, and he's currently through the T14 section. Elliot Norton is making his way through the Sunset Drive section, still without a lap time this session.
Sunset Drive is a good place to start feeling out the car's high-speed grip. As a driver, you're usually just checking that the car feels balanced and stable through there on your first run.
Phil Bodkin continues in P2 with his 146.614 as we get closer to 55 minutes remaining in this practice session.
Even in P2, that's still an incredibly strong lap. It means he's set a benchmark, and now he's likely focusing on consistency or trying different lines, knowing he's already got the pace.
Sten Wallstrom is holding P5 with his 148.629 as we edge towards the final 54 minutes.
P5 is a good place to be at this stage. It means he's got a solid understanding of the car, and now he can start to fine-tune and really look for those last few tenths around the circuit.
Nigel Walters is now on track, in the Strand Drive section, looking for his first time lap.
Strand Drive is a pretty fast section, so he'll be feeling out the car's aero and suspension setup there. It's a key area to get confidence in the car's stability.
Sten Wallstrom is now in P7, his 148.629 is the best so far, and he's currently in the T9 section as the clock hits 54 minutes. Elliot Norton continues his outlap, currently in T8, still waiting to set a time.
T8 is a corner where you're starting to really feel the car under load. For a driver on an outlap, it's about checking the balance and how the tires are coming up to temperature.
Michael Faber-Harder improves his time slightly to a 147.595, putting him into P5, and he's now through Strand Drive. Nigel Walters logs his first time, a 147.923, putting him into P6 as he navigates the Sunset Drive section. Daniel Kochish has his first time lap, a 2:13.521, placing him in P8 as he is currently in the T8 section. Chris Stokes is now on track, currently in the Central Avenue section, still waiting to set a time lap. Nigel Walters, currently P6 with a 147.923, is now through the T12 section. Michael Faber-Harder improves his time again, a 146.865 moves him into P4, and he's now through T4. Greg Sabo is yet to set a lap time in this session, with just under 50 minutes remaining.
He's probably just getting the car dialed in, doing some system checks. Sometimes the best way to get pace is to just be patient and build up to it.
Adam Tiaz improves his time to a 147.344, slotting into P6, and he's now in the Central Avenue section.
That's a good step forward for Tiaz. Central Avenue is a long run, and to get that time means he's getting good traction out of the previous corners and carrying high speed down the straight.
Chris Stokes is currently in the T9 section, still without a registered lap time.
T9 is a crucial corner, it really sets you up for the next sequence. He'll be using this out lap to feel for the grip and how the car reacts to steering input there.
Greg Sabo is currently in the T3 section, still on his out lap and yet to put a time on the board.
He's really taking his time getting the tires warm and checking all the systems. Sometimes it's better to be methodical than to rush out and make a mistake on the first flying lap.
Daniel Kochish has improved to a 151.362, now in P9, with just over 47 minutes remaining. Elliot Norton has set his first time, a 2:00.914 puts him into P10, and he's in the Sunset Drive section.
It's on the slower side, but it's a marker. Now he has something to build on. Sunset Drive is a good place to start pushing to see where the car's limits are as he brings the tires up to temp.
Nigel Walters improves again, a 146.756, moving him up to P4 as he navigates T3.
He's really found some pace. T3 is a quick flick, and getting that right really sets up the flow for the rest of the sector. He's clearly confident in the car's front end.
Elliot Norton shaves some time off, now a 157.000, but remains in P10, and he's in the Strand Drive section.
He's finding more pace, which is good. Strand Drive is one of the faster sections, so he'll be feeling the aerodynamic balance. It's all about slowly pushing the limits lap by lap in practice.
Nigel Walters, holding P4 with a 146.756, is now through the T12 section. Adam Tiaz is currently in Central Avenue, holding P7 with his 147.344 as we get closer to 44 minutes remaining.
He's consistent, which is key. Central Avenue is a place where you can relax a little, check your mirrors, and prepare for the next series of corners, but that time means he's already pushing hard in the faster parts of the lap.
Greg Sabo is finally on the board, a 157.784 puts him into P12.
He's got a time set now, so the pressure to get a lap in is off. From here, he can focus on building up speed and experimenting with lines, especially as the track rubbers in.
Adam Tiaz is holding P8 with his 147.344, navigating the Central Avenue section.
He's finding good consistency. Central Avenue is long enough to assess how the car is behaving at high speed and plan for the next series of braking and turn-in points.
David Constable Barry is now on track, currently in the T6 section, looking to set his first lap time. Bart van de Sande logs a phenomenal 145.832, rocketing him into P2, and he's currently in the Sunset Drive section. Elliot Norton is P11 with a 157.000, with just over 42 minutes left in practice.
He's steadily chipping away at his times, which is the objective for these early practice sessions. Finding that rhythm and building confidence is crucial.
Daniel Kochish has found a lot of pace, a 147.998 puts him into P9, and he's now through T1. Nigel Walters improves dramatically, now a 1:45.950, moving him up to P3 with just over 41 minutes left.
That's a fantastic leap up the order. To be in the 145s at this stage of practice shows he's found a real sweet spot with the car and is able to push hard through the fast sections.
Adam Tiaz is P8 with a 1:47.344, currently in the T14 section.
T14 is the final corner, and getting a good exit there is vital for a strong lap time. He's clearly putting together consistent runs, which is what you want in practice.
Daniel Kochish, currently P10 with his 1:47.998, is now navigating the T13 section. David Constable Barry sets his first time, a 1:48.172, placing him in P11, and he's now through Strand Drive. Nigel Walters, holding a strong P3 with a 1:45.950, is currently in the Central Avenue section.
He's really putting in some quality laps now. Central Avenue allows a moment to gather thoughts, but his previous time shows he's absolutely on it through the technical parts of the circuit.
Chris Stokes leaps to the top of the leaderboard, a blistering 1:45.532, and he's now in the Strand Drive section.
Wow, what a lap. To come out and immediately set the fastest time by that margin shows he's found the rhythm straight away. That's a serious statement of intent from him.
Adam Tiaz is P8 with his 1:47.344, currently in the T6 section of the track. Elliot Norton has found some serious pace, now a 1:47.809, putting him into P9, and he's through T8. Chris Stokes continues to lead the way with his 1:45.532, currently navigating the Strand Drive section. David Constable Barry improves his time to a 1:47.481, now in P10, and he's navigating T3. Joshua Picton improves to a 147.112, now P8, and he's in the Central Avenue section. Daniel Holland is now on track, currently in the T3 section, yet to register a lap time. Chris Stokes still holds P1 with his 145.532, and he's now through T3. Jareth Hallam improves his time, a 146.190, moving him into P4, and he's navigating T8. Adam Tiaz improves again, a 147.089, putting him into P9, and he's in the Strand Drive section. David Johnston is on track in the Strand Drive section, still without a time lap this session, with 33 minutes and 27 seconds remaining.
He's probably doing a shakedown lap, feeling out the car. Strand Drive is a high-speed area where you can really sense the car's stability, so it's a good place to start building confidence before pushing for a time.
Mac McFarquhar is now on track, currently in the T3 section, yet to register a time lap. Bart van de Sande remains P3 with his 145.832, now in the T2 section. Jareth Hallam clocks a 145.589, vaulting him into P2, and he's currently in the Central Avenue section.
That's a very strong lap, just shy of a liter. Central Avenue is a good place to recover, but that time means he was absolutely on the limit through the preceding corners. It shows he's finding serious pace.
Daniel Holland puts his first time on the board, a 148.984, placing him P14, and he's now in Strand Drive. David Constable Barry improves his time to a 146.911, now in P9, and he's currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's consistently finding more pace. Strand Drive is a fast, flowing section, and that improved time shows he's getting more comfortable pushing the car's limits through those high-speed corners.
Bart van de Sande absolutely flies, a 145.158, and he jumps to the top of the leaderboard with just over 30 minutes remaining. Chris Stokes holds P2 with his 145.532, and he's now through T3. David Constable Barry is P9 with his 146.911, currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's keeping that consistent pace. Strand Drive, being a high-speed section, gives you a good feel for the car's stability and how the aero is working, which is vital for building confidence.
Bart van de Sande drops another massive time, a 144.735, extending his lead at the top, and he's now through Central Avenue. Mac McFarquhar puts a time on the board, a 149.905, placing him in P15 as he navigates T8.
He's finally got a lap in. T8 is a good, flowing corner, and getting the turn in and exit right there is key. Now he can start building on that baseline.
Nigel Walters is P4 with his 145.950, currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's still right up there. Strand Drive is a great place to feel the car's true potential. To hold P4 at this stage means he's getting a lot out of the car in the fast sectors.
Michael Faber-Harder holds P8 with his 146.865, as we get closer to 27 minutes remaining. Daniel Kochish improves his time to a 147.649, now P11, with just under 27 minutes left. Bart van de Sande is in the T2 section, still absolutely dominating with his 144.735. Daniel Kochish, currently P12 with a 147.649, is now in the Lauderway section. Joshua Picton holds P10 with his 147.112, currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's putting in some consistent laps. Strand Drive is one of those sections where you can really feel the car's high-speed characteristics. To maintain that pace, he's got good confidence in his setup.
David Johnston has finally set a lap time, a 2:08.341, placing him in P17.
It's a long way off the pace, but it's a start. Often drivers use these early laps just to bed in brakes or check systems. Now he's got a reference, he can begin to push.
Elliot Norton with a massive improvement, a 146.162, rocketing him into P5, and he's now in the Sunset Drive section. Greg Sabo finds more pace, a 147.533 puts him into P13, and he's now in the T11 section.
He's really starting to dial it in. T11 requires precision and a good understanding of the car's braking performance. That improved time suggests he's finding his confidence there.
Jareth Hallam holds P4 with his 145.589 as we enter the final 23 minutes of practice. Elliot Norton is P5 with his 146.162, currently through the T12 section. Joshua Picton improves to a 146.986, moving him into P10, and he's now in the Lauderway section.
He's consistently chipping away at his times. Lauderway is a corner where you can gain a lot of time with a smooth, committed line, and he's clearly finding that now.
David Constable Berry improves his time to a 146.786, now in P8, with just over 21 minutes remaining. Michael Faber-Harder is P9 with his 146.865, currently in the Central Avenue section. David Constable Barry is P10 with his 146.786, currently in the Strand Drive section. Daniel Kochish improves his time to a 147.475, now P13, as we hit the 20-minute mark.
He's steadily building up. These final 20 minutes are usually when drivers make their last serious qualifying simulations, so we might see some more quick times.
Nigel Walters rockets up to P2, a 145.436, and he's now through the T7 section. Mac McFarquhar puts in a fantastic lap, a 146.527, launching him into P7, and he's in Sunset Drive. Elliot Norton continues to find pace, a 145.979 now puts him into P5, and he's through T3. Jimmy Lindo is now on track, currently in the Central Avenue section, still without a time lap.
He's cutting it a little fine to get a meaningful run in, with less than 18 minutes left. Central Avenue will give him a chance to open up the car, but he'll need to push quickly.
David Johnston improves his time significantly, a 148.932, now in P18 with just over 17 minutes left.
That's a much better lap, a huge step forward for him. It shows he's found a lot more confidence and is getting a better handle on the car as the session progresses.
Tim Weller is yet to set a lap time this session, with less than 17 minutes left on the clock.
He's really leaving it late. With limited time remaining, he'll need to extract the maximum from the very first flying lap if he wants to make a mark.
Daniel Kochish improves his time again, a 146.997, moving him into P12, and he's in the Lauderway section.
Lauderway is a critical point for carrying momentum. To gain time there means he's getting the car set up perfectly and trusting the grip through that fast, sweeping section.
Nigel Walters remains in P2 with his 145.436, as we approach the final 15 minutes of practice.
He's holding that second spot firmly. That time suggests he's already found a sweet spot for a qualifying simulation. It will be interesting to see if he can challenge for the top spot.
Daniel Kochish, currently P12 with a 146.997, is now through the T14 section. Greg Sabo improves his lap time to a 147.480, now P14, and he's currently in the T2 section. Sten Wallstrom improves his time to a 148.452, now P19, as he navigates T13. Tim Weller registers his first time, a 147.573, placing him in P17, and he's currently in Central Avenue. Martin Mull with his first time lap, a 147.611, putting him into P18, and he's now through T12.
It's good to see him on the board. T12 is a fast corner, so that time suggests he's got good confidence in the car's setup through the high-speed sections right from the off.
Adam Tiaz improves yet again, a 146.594, moving him into P9, and he's now through T11.
He's really putting together a strong run. T11 is a tricky braking zone, and to gain time there means he's getting the car stopped and turned in perfectly, carrying good speed through the apex.
David Constable Barry with a fantastic lap, a 145.880, vaulting him into P5, and he's now in Strand Drive. Sten Wallstrom is currently P20 with his 148.452, now in the T1 section. Neil Constable Barry logs a 147.095, putting him into P14, with just under 11 minutes remaining. Joshua Picton improves again, a 146.646, moving him into P13, and he's now through Strand Drive. Martin Mull is P18 with his 147.611, currently in the T2 section as we tick down to under 10 minutes.
He's likely looking for more pace in these final minutes. T2 is a corner where a good exit can really make a difference to the speed down the next straight, so he'll be focusing on that.
Adam Tiaz is P11 with a 146.594, currently in the Strand Drive section.
He's putting in solid, consistent laps. Strand Drive is a high-speed section, so it's a good place to be getting a feel for the car's aerodynamic balance and stability at speed.
Mac McFarquhar is P9 with his 146.527, currently in the T3 section.
He's holding a strong position with that time. T3 is a quick corner that demands commitment, and to be consistently fast through there shows confidence in the car's setup.
Jimmy Lindo with a huge leap, a 145.554, rocketing him into P4, and he's now in Strand Drive.
He's certainly woken up. To put in a time like that so late in the session shows he's found that extra pace. Strand Drive is one of those places you can really feel a good setup.
Jareth Hallam holds P5 with his 145.589, now in the Central Avenue section as we hit exactly 8 minutes left.
He's still showing excellent pace out there. Central Avenue is a place for a brief respite, but that time means he's been pushing hard through the more technical parts of the circuit.
Jimmy Lindo is P4 with his 145.554, now making his way through the Central Avenue section. Sten Wallstrom is P20 with his 148.452, currently in the Strand Drive section. David Constable Barry is P6 with his 145.880, currently in the Central Avenue section.
He's keeping that strong pace. Central Avenue allows him to check the car's behavior at speed and prepare for the final few corners, but that time shows he's already getting a lot out of it.
Elliot Norton improves again, a 145.936, moving him into P7, and he's now in the Strand Drive section.
He's really building momentum in these final minutes. Strand Drive is one of those sections where you can feel if the car is truly balanced. To improve there shows growing confidence.
Greg Sabo is P17 with his 147.480, currently in the Strand Drive section. Michael Faber-Harder improves his time slightly, a 146.583, now P13, and he's in Central Avenue. Rich Snape has a best lap time of 147.943, putting him in P20, with just over 4 minutes remaining. Mac McFarquhar improves his time to a 146.446, now P11, and he's in the T8 section.
He's really pushing now. T8 is a good, flowing corner, and to gain time there means he's being very precise with his turn in and carrying excellent mid-corner speed.
Bart van de Sande remains unchallenged at the top with his 144.735, currently in the Lauderway section.
He's just in a league of his own right now. Lauderway demands perfect precision, and he's clearly got it absolutely spot on, which reflects in that incredible time.
Sten Wallstrom is currently P21 with his 148.452, now in the Strand Drive section. Rich Snape improves slightly to a 147.883, remaining in P20, and he's now in Central Avenue.
He's still looking for that extra tenth. Central Avenue is a place to recover and set up for the final push, but that time means he's getting closer to the limit.
Greg Sabo is P17 with his 147.480, currently in the T5 section, as we hit the final 2 minutes. David Constable Barry improves his time again, a 145.565, moving him into P6, and he's now through Strand Drive.
He's really found his rhythm in these closing moments. Strand Drive is where you commit to those high speeds, and he's clearly got the car to do it with confidence, shaving off crucial tenths.
Jimmy Lindo remains P5 with his 145.554, currently in Strand Drive, as the clock winds down to less than a minute. Adam Tia's improved slightly to a 146.524, now in P13, currently in the strand drive section with seconds ticking away.
Every tenth counts, especially now. Strand drive is one of the last chances to really put the hammer down on a flying lap, so he's still pushing right to the very end.
Sten Wallstrom is currently P21 with a 148.452, now in the Lauderway section, with just 7 seconds left on the clock.
He's really pushing to the very last second. Lauderway is a corner where you can gain or lose a lot of time, so he's trying to extract everything he can from this final run.
David Constable Barry remains in P6 with his 145.565, as the practice session winds down with only 39 seconds left.
He's held that strong time well. With so little time left, he's probably focused on making sure the car feels good for tomorrow, not necessarily improving his lap further, but it's a very competitive time.
Jimmy Lindo finds even more time, a 145.417, moving him up to P4, and he's currently navigating the T2 section with just over a minute left.
He's really pushing hard right at the end of the session. T2 is all about getting a strong exit to carry speed down the next straight, so that time shows he's found that crucial drive out of the corner.
Chris Stokes improves his time to a 145.003, moving him up to P3 as we have just over a minute and a half remaining.
That's a fantastic effort, especially at this late stage in practice. I remember those final runs, you're pushing for everything, trying to get that perfect lap in before the flag drops.
Welcome back to Belle Isle. The qualifying session is about to get underway here in Detroit. Martin Mull is out on track now, into the Central Avenue section, still waiting for that first lap time to be registered. And Daniel Holland is now on circuit 2, also in Central Avenue, looking to get his first flying lap in. Tim Weller has joined the fray, now through turn 6, still yet to register a time. Rich Snape now on track, making his way through the Strand Drive section, still looking for his first competitive lap time.
Strand Drive can be a challenging section, you really need to carry momentum there. It's all about finding that rhythm early in a qualifying session like this.
Martin Mull is back through Central Avenue, still pushing to get a lap time on the board with under 3 minutes remaining. And Martin Mull clocks in with a 1:47.440. That's the fastest lap of the session so far, putting him provisionally on pole. Adam Tias, currently in P4 with a 1:46.809, is on a hot lap but just a hundredth of a second off his personal best right now.
Those are the margins that make or break a qualifying session. You're constantly fighting for every single thousandth. It really comes down to absolute precision and pushing the car right to its limit.
Jareth Hallam, currently P17, is out there on another flyer, but he's exactly on his previous best pace at the moment as the clock ticks down. Jimmy Lindo, currently in P4, is absolutely flying. He's 600ths up on his personal best already with only 36 seconds left on the clock. Chris Stokes, currently on provisional pole, is absolutely on fire. He's over 2/10ths up on his best time through Strand Drive. What a lap this could be. Jimmy Lindo, currently in P4, is absolutely lighting up the track. 2/10ths up on his best time and he's just through turn 7 with only 15 seconds left.
This is where you push everything. Those final corners are critical, you know it's your last chance. He's really digging deep for that extra pace.
Unbelievable, Nigel Walters is over a second and a quarter up on his best time, and the clock is almost at zero. This is a massive improvement. Jimmy Lindo continues to improve, now a quarter of a second up on his best time through turn 13 with the clock almost out.
This is a make or break moment for him. Every hundredth counts, especially in the final sector. He's really pushing the envelope.
Nigel Walters is absolutely flying. He's over a second and a half up on his best time as he powers through turn 14. What an incredible push. Neil Constable Barry, down in P16, is making a huge charge. Half a second up on his best time through turn 14, this could really shake things up.
Finding that kind of pace in the final moments of qualifying is incredibly difficult. You're pushing the tires to their absolute limit, trying to extract every bit of performance without making a mistake. It takes a lot of confidence.
Phil Bodkin is out on track, currently P18 with his best time of 1:48.704, and he's right on that pace again with just over a minute to go.
It's tough when you're exactly on your best lap. You need to find that extra gear or that perfect line in the final corners to make a significant improvement. Sometimes you have to risk it all for those last few hundredths.
Daniel Kochich, currently P7, is on a lap but he's well off his personal best, over 15 seconds slower right now, so this won't be an improvement. Welcome race fans to Detroit's Belle Isle for what promises to be an absolutely thrilling Grand Prix.
A breezy 7 miles per hour could definitely make those braking zones and the tighter chicanes quite a challenge today, especially on corner entry.
And starting from an impressive second position, it's the Dutchman Bart van de Sande in the Mazda, a strong pro-class contender. Right behind him in third, we have Nigel Walters from the UK, also in a Mazda.
Starting third as an AM driver is a fantastic achievement, but it puts him right in the mix with some very quick pro drivers off the line.
Rounding out the second row, in fourth, it's David Constable Barry from England, in another Mazda. And holding down the fifth spot on the grid, it's Elliot Norton, also from the UK, in the Mazda. Mac McFarquhar, the pro-class driver from the UK, starts today's race from sixth position. Starting in seventh, we have Daniel Kochich from Hungary, an M-class driver.
Seventh is a good place to be for an AM. He'll be looking to hold his own and maybe pick off some places as things settle down.
In eighth position, it's Jimmy Lindo, another AM-class driver in a Mazda.
Consistency will be key for Jimmy. You don't always need raw pace to gain positions if you can keep it clean while others make mistakes.
Starting in ninth place, we have Jareth Hallam from the UK, a Pro-Am class driver.
Ninth can be tricky, right in the middle of the pack. He'll need a good run through turn 1 to avoid getting squeezed.
From the 11th spot, it's Rich Snape from the UK, another AM class driver in the Mazda. And starting 12th, we have Adam Tiaz from the United Kingdom in the Mazda. In 13th position, it's Tim Weller, the AM class driver from the UK.
Starting from the back end of the grid, the focus will be on making up ground safely in these early laps.
Starting in 14th, we have Martin Mol from the Netherlands, a pro-class driver in the Mazda. From the 15th spot, it's Neil Constable Barry from the UK, an M-class driver.
Neil's got some work to do, but this circuit can create opportunities if you're patient and capitalize on others' mistakes.
And in 16th position, we have Greg Sabo from Italy in the Mazda. Starting in 17th, it's Daniel Holland from England, another M-class driver.
He'll be looking to gain as many spots as possible in the chaos of turn 1, but it's a fine line between aggression and control.
In 18th, we have Phil Bodkin from England, in the Mazda MX5 Cup. The lights are out and we are underway at Belle Isle. What a start! Bart van de Sande, starting second, has dropped back to third already on this opening lap.
Sometimes it's better to lose a spot early than risk a crash. He'll be trying to settle in now.
Elliot Norton holds his starting position of 5th through the opening corners. Elliot Norton, after a busy start, remains in 5th position.
Holding position in these frantic opening laps is a win in itself. He's clearly found a good rhythm early on.
Joshua Picton has made up a spot on the opening lap, moving into 9th. Joshua Picton consolidates his move into 9th place.
He's capitalized on someone else's mistake or just had a better drive out of a corner. That's how you pick up places.
David Constable Barry has lost 2 places already, dropping from 4th to 6th.
He's been swamped a bit. That can happen when you're on the outside line through the first few corners here.
We're still following David Constable Barry, who has now recovered to 5th position. But the real story is Nigel Walters, who started in 3rd and has dropped all the way back to 13th.
That's a huge loss for Nigel Walters. Dropping 10 places means something significant happened. 7.7 seconds is a massive gap to David Constable Barry to try and close now.
It's all eyes on this battle as Joshua Picton in 5th tries to hold off the challenge of Daniel. We're now riding with Joshua Picton, who is in 5th place, but look at that. Daniel Kosic is right there, just inches behind him in 6th.
That's absolutely 0 seconds between them. This is a battle for position, bumper to bumper. Picton posted a 1:55.859 on his last lap, but he needs to find more if he wants to shake Kosic.
And there it is. Kosic has made the move, taking 5th from Picton, who now drops to 6th. What a fight.
That was clinical from Kosic. He saw the opening and took it. Now Picton needs to reassess and see if he can get that spot back.
Now we're looking at Martin Mol in 16th position, with Nigel Walters right on his tail, just 0.4 of a second behind.
Mol's last lap was a 2:00.766, which is a bit off the pace. He's got a pro-class tag, so he'll know he needs to find some speed or Walters will be through.
We're back with Joshua Picton in 6th, still chasing Daniel Kosic, who is now 0.4 ahead in 5th.
Picton's last lap of 1:55.859 shows he has pace, but that small gap is going to require absolute precision to close down. Kosic won't give it up easily.
Well, that's a surprise. Daniel Kosic, who was just in 5th, has unexpectedly pulled into the pits on lap 1. Now our focus is on Mac McFarquhar, currently in 8th, just a 1/10 of a second behind Adam Tias in 7th.
McFarquhar's just put in his best lap, a 1:54.882. He's found some rhythm and is clearly ready to challenge Tias for that spot.
And Mac McFarquhar has made the move. He's through on Adam Tias and is now up to 7th position. We're now with Daniel Holland in 15th, just 3/10 behind Greg Sabo in 14th.
Holland's just set his best lap, a 1:54.275. He's really pushing hard and looks ready to make a move on Sabo.
Daniel Holland is still in 15th, but the gap to Greg Sabo has now opened up to 6/10. What a frantic start to this race. We've seen so many positions change hands already in these opening laps.
This circuit is so unforgiving, especially on cold tires in those first few corners. One slight misjudgment and you can lose several spots, or worse.
We saw Nigel Walters drop 10 places early on, then David Constable Barry recover some. It's a real roller coaster out there.
It's incredibly difficult to keep your head when you're being shuffled back. You have to reset and focus on rebuilding lap by lap, not get impatient.
And Daniel Kosic's early pit stop was certainly unexpected, especially after fighting for 5th.
A very early stop like that usually means either a small tag they want to check out, or perhaps they've gambled on a very aggressive strategy. We'll have to see.
The mix of Pro-Am, and M drivers is really shaking things up, adding another layer to the strategy.
It adds a lot of pressure. As a pro, you're constantly looking for clean air. As an AM, you're focused on not making mistakes against faster cars.
Absolutely, the varying experience levels are keeping everyone on their toes.
It means the overtakes are often less predictable, and you see some really bold moves coming from unexpected places.
Daniel Kosic, after that early pit stop, is now up to 12th, battling Martin Mole in 11th, just half a second between them in the Lauderway section.
That 1:52.066 is a strong lap time for Kosic, showing he's really pushing hard to recover. The Lauderway section is all about getting the exit right to carry speed. The gap has actually grown between Kosic and Mole. Martin Mole is now 1.3 seconds ahead, Kosic still in 12th. Now we're with Jareth Hallam in 16th, looking to close the 4/10 gap to Daniel Holland in 15th. Hallam's got good pace, a 1:48.937 on his last lap and a best of 1:48.652. He's quicker than Holland at the moment and will be looking for a way past soon. Jareth Hallam has made the pass. He's now into 15th, pushing Daniel Holland back to 16th. Our attention is now on Phil Botkin in 9th, just 3/10 behind Mac McFarquhar in 8th. Botkin's just set his best lap, a 1:48.857. He's really found his rhythm and is putting pressure on McFarquhar in front. Botkin is absolutely glued to the back of McFarquhar. The gap is now 0 seconds. And Phil Botkin has made the move. He's through on Mac McFarquhar and into 8th place. We're now focused on Martin Mole in 11th, just 2/10 behind Chris Stokes in 10th, as they navigate turn 4. The gap has opened slightly between Mole and Stokes, with Mole still in 11th, now 3/10 behind. He lost a bit of traction coming out of T4, that's enough to give Stokes some breathing room. Mole will need to put in a perfect sector to get that back. Martin Mole is on the move again. He's gained another spot, now up to 10th position, though Chris Stokes is still ahead in 9th, with the gap now 4/10. He's really working hard to make up places out there. Even if the gap to Stokes is a fraction wider, picking off another car in this pack is always a good result. And Mole has moved up. He's now firmly in 10th, with Chris Stokes now behind him in 11th, just 2/10 separating them. That's a good move by Mole. He's been pushing hard and now he's got Stokes in his mirrors. His best lap of 146.234 shows he has the pace to hold that spot.
Martin Mole is still on the charge. He's gained another spot, now in 9th, with Chris Stokes trailing in 10th, still 2/10ths back.
Mole is driving brilliantly to make up ground from that 14th place start. That's a 5-place gain and he's not letting up.
Phil Bodkin is holding 11th position, with Daniel Kosic just 3/10ths behind, putting on the pressure. The gap has shrunk even further. Kosic is now just a 10th behind Bodkin. Tim Weller has made incredible progress, now in 5th position, with Joshua Picton nearly a second back in 6th. Tim Weller continues to hold strong in 5th, maintaining that 0.9-second gap to Joshua Picton. And Kosic has passed Bodkin. Phil Bodkin drops to 12th, with Daniel Kosic now ahead in 11th by a 10th. Incredible, Phil Bodkin has immediately fought back and reclaimed 11th position from Daniel Kosic.
That's a fantastic response from Bodkin. He clearly wasn't happy to lose that spot and wasted no time getting it back. That takes real focus.
We're now with Mac McFarquhar in 8th, just 2/10ths behind Adam Tiaz in 7th. Mac McFarquhar has moved up to 7th. He's passed Adam Tiaz, who is now right behind him in 8th.
He's really found some late race pace. That was a bold move, and it's paid off for now.
Adam Tiaz is in 10th, with Martin Mole now 8/10ths ahead in 9th. What a massive change. Adam Tiaz has dropped all the way from 10th to 17th. Martin Mole is now far ahead in 13th, with a huge 10-second gap. Adam Tiaz has plummeted further down the order, now in 18th, with Martin Mole a staggering 46.5 seconds ahead in 14th.
That's an enormous gap and a huge loss of positions for Tiaz. Something major must have happened out there to lose that much time.
Jimmy Lindo is now an impressive 5th, chasing David Constable Barry in 4th, with a gap of 6/10ths. No change in that battle for 4th and 5th, Jimmy Lindo still 6/10ths behind David Constable Barry. Now with Chris Stokes in 8th, just 1/10th ahead of Mac McFarquhar in 9th. This is very close indeed.
Stokes just put in his best lap, a 146.693, but that tiny gap to McFarquhar means he's going to need every ounce of that pace.
Chris Stokes has dropped 2 positions, now in 10th, and Mac McFarquhar has opened up a 1.4-second gap ahead in 9th. Now we're following Jareth Hallam in 13th, just 2/10ths behind Phil Bodkin in 12th. Jareth Hallam has made a move and gained a spot, now in 12th, though Phil Bodkin is still ahead in 11th by 3/10ths.
He's clawed his way past someone. That's good momentum for Hallam, but he needs to find a bit more pace to close on Bodkin.
Tim Weller continues to impress, holding 5th position, and has now opened up a 1.6-second gap to Joshua Picton in 6th.
Weller is driving a very disciplined race. He's managing that gap well, putting in consistent lap times to keep Picton at bay. Now with Daniel Holland in 13th, who has a 7/10ths lead over Ridge Snape in 14th. He's got a decent cushion there. Holland's consistency is paying off, keeping Snape at arm's length.
Bart van de Sande is in a commanding lead, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag. Elliot Norton is 3 seconds back. Bart van de Sande crosses the line and takes a brilliant victory here at Belle. What a drive from second on the grid.
He managed that race perfectly. Starting second and controlling the front of the pack like that shows incredible maturity and pace. A well-deserved win.
Elliot Norton crosses the line in second place, a fantastic result after starting fifth on the grid.
To climb 3 positions in this competitive field and hold on to second is a testament to his focus and pace throughout the entire race.
David Constable Barry takes the final step on the podium, finishing third after starting in fourth position. And across the line come Jimmy Lindo in fourth, Tim Weller a superb fifth, Joshua Picton in sixth, and Daniel Kosic finishing seventh.
What a strong run for all those drivers. Consistently good performances to secure those top 7 spots in a very tight race.
Rounding out the top 11, we have Chris Stokes in 8th, Mac McFarquhar 9th, Nigel Walters recovering for 10th, and Jareth Hallam in 11th. Further down the order, Phil Bodkin finishes 12th, Daniel Holland 13th, Martin Mull 14th, and Neil Constable Barry crosses in 15th.
All of them battling hard to the very end. Finishing inside the top 15 on this challenging circuit is always a good effort.
Rich Snape takes 16th, and Adam Tias finishes in 17th position.
A tough finish for Tias after that earlier incident, but credit to Snape for bringing it home in a respectable 16th.
Welcome race fans to the Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix 2021. The tension is palpable with an 8 miles per hour wind across the circuit as we prepare for the green flag. On pole position, it's the AM-class driver Adam Tias from the United Kingdom, ready to lead the pack in his Mazda. Lining up right beside him in second place, it's fellow Briton Rich Snape, also an AM-class driver, in his Mazda MX5 Cup car.
An all-AM front row is really interesting. The MX5 Cup car can be tricky to get right here, so starting P2 is a strong statement.
Further down the grid, in fourth position, we have Martin Mull from the Netherlands, driving a Mazda, a pro-class driver who will be looking to make an early move.
He's a pro driver, so don't expect him to stay in P4 for long. He'll be hunting those M drivers up front, especially on a street circuit like this where experience counts.
And in sixth spot, we find Phil Bodkin, another AM-class driver from England, in his Mazda MX5 Cup car, eager to climb the ranks. Jareth Hallam, a Pro-Am driver from the United Kingdom, is starting in 7th, piloting his Mazda MX5 Cup car. Next up, in 8th place, it's Nigel Walters, another AM-class driver from the UK, behind the wheel of a Mazda.
This part of the grid can be a real pressure cooker on lap 1. Everyone's trying to gain position, but they're also trying to stay out of trouble.
Starting from 9th position, we have pro-class driver Mac McFarquhar from the United Kingdom in his Mazda MX5 Cup machine. From the middle of the pack, we have Chris Stokes in 10th place on the starting grid.
But sometimes the underdog can surprise you. Let's see what they've got in the tank.
Rounding out the top 10, Chris Stokes, a Pro-Am driver from England, in his Mazda. Just behind him in 11th, Daniel Kocic from Hungary, an M-Class driver in a Mazda.
He's starting right in the thick of it. Sometimes the best strategy here is just to survive the first few corners and then make your move.
And in 12th position, we have Joshua Picton from Italy, driving a Mazda, his class yet to be determined. Starting from 13th, it's M-Class driver Tim Weller from the United Kingdom in his Mazda MX5 Cup car. In 14th, we have Jimmy Lindo, an M-Class driver in a Mazda, his nationality unknown to us at this moment. David Constable Barry, a Pro-Am driver from England, is set to start from 15th position in his Mazda. Rounding out our grid, in 16th, it's Elliot Norton from the United Kingdom, another Pro-Am driver in a Mazda. And starting from 17th, we have pro-class driver Bart van de Sande from the Netherlands in his Mazda.
He's a pro driver starting way down the order. That suggests he either had a poor qualifying or a penalty. Either way, he'll be a force to watch as he tries to carve through the field.
The lights are out, and we are green at Belle Isle. What a start!
Everyone's jostling for position into turn 1. This is where races can be won or lost on a street circuit.
Jareth Hallam, who started in 7th, has already made up 2 places, now running in 5th position.
He's made a great start. Sometimes the mid-pack drivers get a bit more space, but that takes real skill to spot the gaps and go for them on a congested first lap.
Bart van de Sande is also making moves, up 3 places from 17th to 14th already in this opening lap. Bart van de Sande continues his charge, up to 14th from 17th. He's really pushing from the back.
3 positions in the first lap on a tight track like this is impressive. That pro experience is really showing, he's not hanging around.
Jimmy Lindo also makes a gain, up 1 spot into 13th position on this opening lap. Oh, a bit of trouble for Rich Snape. He's dropped from 2nd all the way down to 4th.
That's a tough start for him. He'll need to regroup quickly. Losing 2 spots like that early on can really disrupt your rhythm.
Still following Rich Snape in 4th, and now we see Adam Tiaz, who started on pole, as directly ahead in 3rd position, with just 0.6 seconds separating them.
He's got his work cut out now. Tiaz is a strong driver, and that 0.6 second gap means Snape will have to be perfect to try and reel him back in on this circuit.
We switch focus to Neil Constable Barry in 16th, trailing Daniel Holland by just 0.7 seconds, his last lap at 2:12.664 as we approach 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in this race. Jareth Hallam, now in 6th, navigating turn 3, with Joshua Picton right on his tail, just 0.8 seconds behind.
That's not a comfortable gap at all, especially through turn 3. Picton will be looking for any mistake Hallam might make there.
Huge drama. Jareth Hallam has plummeted down the order from 6th to 16th. Joshua Picton, previously behind him, is now a massive 12.8 seconds up the road in 7th. David Constable Barry is currently running 11th on Strand Drive, with Bart van de Sande just 1.5 seconds ahead in 10th. His last lap was a 2:05.767 as we tick down to 9 minutes plus 1 lap. Nigel Walters is right on the back of Joshua Picton. Only 0.2 seconds separate them for 7th position on this first lap, with 8 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Martin Mull has taken the lead and is absolutely flying. He's in first position, with a healthy 2.0 second gap back to Chris Stokes in second, clocking a 1:52.828 last lap.
Mole is a pro driver, and he's showing exactly why he's up there. That's a very strong opening lap time for Belle. Building a cushion early is key on a track like this.
Unbelievable, Martin Mull has dropped from first all the way down to 5th position. Chris Stokes is now in the lead, a massive 6.2 seconds ahead of Mull.
Something has gone seriously wrong for Mole there. To lose that much ground in 4 positions so quickly suggests either a big error or contact. That's a huge setback.
Elliot Norton is now running in an incredible second position, holding off Adam Tiaz, who is just 0.4 seconds behind. Norton's last lap was a 1:46.414.
That's a fantastic lap time and a brilliant move up the order for Norton. Holding off Tiaz by less than half a second means he's driving with absolutely no margin for error.
Adam Tiaz is now in third, with Rich Snape breathing down his neck, just 0.3 seconds behind. This is a tight battle for the podium positions. Adam Tiaz still holds on to third, and he's managed to extend the gap to Rich Snape slightly, now 0.6 seconds back in fourth.
He's finding a bit more pace, or Snape is just losing a little. On a street circuit, even a small increase in that gap is a huge confidence booster and makes it harder for the car behind to attack.
Martin Mull, recovering brilliantly, is now in fourth, and Rich Snape is right there in fifth, just 0.3 seconds behind. This is a fascinating battle for fourth.
He's really pushing to make up for that earlier incident. Being a pro driver, he knows how to manage these situations and get back into contention. This is the kind of aggressive recovery drive you love to see.
Greg Szabo is hounding David Constable Barry for 10th position. Just a tenth of a second separates them. Szabo's best lap a 1:46.596 as we hit 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Greg Szabo is still pursuing David Constable Barry for 10th, but the gap has slightly widened to 0.2 seconds.
That extra tenth of a second gives Constable Barry a little breathing room. Szabo will need to be very precise if he wants to close that down again on this track.
Rich Snape has fallen back to 7th, but he's got Nigel Walters right on his gearbox, just 0.3 seconds adrift. This is becoming a race of attrition. Joshua Picton holds 6th, with Rich Snape just a tenth of a second behind him in 7th. What a battle this is turning into. Joshua Picton remains in 6th, but Rich Snape has now dropped to 8th, with the gap between them growing to 0.9 seconds. This Belle Isle circuit is truly proving to be as challenging and unpredictable as ever, isn't it? We've seen some incredible swings in position already.
Absolutely. You can have a perfect lap, then one tiny error, just a brush of the wall, and your race can be completely transformed. I've been there, it's brutal.
We saw Martin Mull go from leading to 5th in a blink, and Jareth Hallam drop even further. What does that tell you about the margins here?
It tells you there are no margins. These street circuits demand absolute precision. One missed braking point or too much aggression over a curb, and it's game over for that segment of your race.
It's fascinating to see some of these M-Class drivers holding their own, even leading at times, despite the pros lurking.
It really highlights the skill, doesn't it? On a technical track like this, raw pace isn't always enough. Consistency and car control can sometimes trump the fastest single lap.
Tim Weller is now in 9th, pushing hard to close the 0.3 second gap to Greg Szabo in 8th on lap 4, with his best lap at 1:46.746 and just 4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining.
That 0.3 second gap is tough but certainly attackable, especially at this stage of the race. Szabo will be feeling the pressure from Weller behind him.
Daniel Holland maintains 10th position through turn 5, with Neil Constable Barry 0.8 seconds behind in 11th, his last lap a 1:47.502. Daniel Holland continues to hold that 10th spot, still with 0.8 seconds over Neil Constable Barry, maintaining the gap perfectly. The intensity of these battles is just relentless, isn't it? It feels like almost every position has a car right on its tail.
It's physically and mentally draining out there. From my own experience, keeping that concentration for an entire race on a street circuit is one of the toughest challenges you face.
And with that 8 miles per hour wind we mentioned at the start, how much of a factor does that become when you're pushing to the limit through these tight corners?
It's absolutely a factor, especially with lighter cars like these. It can just shift the car by a tiny amount at the worst possible time, enough to unsettle you or even put you into the wall.
We've seen some drivers lose positions, then regain them. It speaks to the mental fortitude required.
Definitely, you can't let one mistake snowball. You have to reset immediately and trust your pace to get back what you lost. That's a mark of a real racer.
Martin Mull is now absolutely hounding Jimmy Lindo for third position. Only 0.2 seconds separate them on lap 5, with Mull setting his best lap at 1:45.695.
Mull is on a charge. That's a phenomenal lap time and he's completely recovered from that early drop. Lindo will have to defend hard to hold him off here. This is a pro driver coming through.
David Constable Barry is holding on to 6th position, keeping Rich Snape at bay by 0.4 seconds, his best lap a strong 1:45.868.
That 0.4 second gap is precarious, especially with a driver like Snape pushing from behind. Constable Barry needs to stay absolutely focused and hit every apex if he wants to maintain that position.
Phil Bodkin is currently in 13th, with Adam Tias 1.4 seconds behind him and 14th on lap 5.
Tias has fallen a long way down the order. That's a significant drop from his pole position start. He'll be trying to figure out what went wrong and how to regain some positions.
Phil Bodkin is still 13th, but Adam Tias has closed the gap to 1.1 seconds. Tias is definitely pushing to recover. Martin Mull continues to apply pressure from 4th, with Jimmy Lindo still holding 3rd, the gap now 0.3 seconds.
Lindo has managed to edge that gap out a fraction, but Mull's pace is relentless. He'll be looking for any opportunity, probably focusing on exit speed in the coming corners.
Tim Weller in 8th on Central Avenue, just 0.3 seconds behind Greg Sabo in 7th. This battle is heating up as we get deeper into lap 6. A massive change. Tim Weller has now passed Greg Sabo, who has dropped to 9th, and Weller now has a 1.7 second lead over him. Bart van de Sande is now running in 6th, consistently putting in fast laps with a 1:45.076, but still 2.9 seconds behind Martin Mull in 5th. Adam Tias is holding on to 14th position, now with a 2.4 second cushion over Joshua Picton in 15th on lap 6.
That's a good chunk of air for Tias. He's trying to find his rhythm again after that early struggle. A gap like that can let you reset a little.
Adam Tias still in 14th, Picton still behind in 15th. The gap has shrunk ever so slightly to 2.1 seconds.
Picton is chipping away at that lead. Tias can't afford to relax here. He needs to maintain his pace to prevent Picton from closing in further.
Oh, this is getting intense. Martin Mull is just a few car lengths behind Jimmy Lindo. Martin Mull is relentless. He's still chasing Jimmy Lindo for 3rd, the gap's still a tight 0.3 seconds on lap 7.
Lindo really has to be on his game. Mull is a pro, and he's not letting up. That 0.3 second gap means he's right in the dirty air and looking for an opportunity.
And Mull has closed it right up. The gap to Lindo is now just 0.1 seconds. He is practically on his gearbox.
Wow, that is absolutely nothing on a track like this. Lindo needs to be perfect, because Mull will be pouncing on the slightest error. We could see a pass here very soon.
Joshua Picton is now in 14th, closing in on Adam Tia's in 13th. The gap is down to just 0.7 seconds, Picton's best lap a 1:45.865.
Picton is absolutely flying now. That's a rapid lap, and he's really catching Tia's. You can sense the pressure building for Tia's, he needs to respond.
Chris Stokes is absolutely dominating this race. He's in the lead and just 20 seconds away from the checkered flag, with Elliot Norton now 5.8 seconds behind him.
What a drive by Stokes. That's a significant lead on a street circuit, meaning he's kept it clean and maintained incredible pace from start to finish.
Chris Stokes takes the checkered flag and wins the Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix. What an incredible drive from 10th on the grid. And Elliot Norton crosses the line in second place. From 16th on the grid, that is an absolutely phenomenal performance. Martin Mole, after all his drama, secures a well-deserved third place, taking the final podium spot. Rounding out the top 5, Bart van de Sonde crosses the line in 4th, followed by David Constable Barry in 5th. Tim Weller takes 6th, with Jimmy Lindo in 7th, and Greg Sabo finishes in 8th position.
And Daniel Kochish crosses the line down in 15th. A tough end to the race for him after some early battles.
Jareth Hallam finishes 9th, Neil Constable Barry takes 10th, Daniel Holland is 11th, and Phil Bodkin crosses the line in 12th. Adam Tias finishes 13th and Joshua Picton takes 14th, bringing our race to a close. Two minutes and 16 seconds left in this practice session, and Tim Weller is in the Strand Drive section, still without a time lap.
He'll be feeling the pressure now to get a clean run. That Strand Drive section always felt like a make or break part of the track for a flying lap in practice.
Less than 2 minutes on the clock now, and Daniel Kochish is in Strand Drive, yet to post a representative lap time. One minute 30 seconds left on the clock, and Tim Weller is in the Central Avenue section, still searching for that first time lap. Jimmy Lindo, currently P1 with a 145.234, is navigating T7 with less than a minute left in this session.
He'll be looking to consolidate that time, maybe even try to find a 10th or 2. In my experience, even when you're P1, you're always pushing right to the flag.
Just 26 seconds remaining in practice, and Jareth Hallam is in Strand Drive without a time lap to his name. Five seconds left now in practice, and Martin Mole is in T5, still waiting to set a lap time. David Constable Barry, running P2 with a 146.836, is through Lauder Way with just 37 seconds on the clock.
He's got to manage his lap carefully. At this point in practice, it's about not making a mistake while still trying to find that last bit of pace.
Greg Sabo, currently P5 with a 149.087, is in T9 with a minute and 9 seconds remaining.
He'll be looking to solidify that top 5. T9 is critical for carrying speed onto the next straight, so he'll want a clean exit there.
One minute 42 seconds left in practice, and Tim Weller is in Sunset Drive, still without a time lap. Qualifying is just moments away here at Detroit Belle Isle for the 2021 race.
That 12 miles per hour wind is certainly going to be a factor, especially through the quick chicanes. It really unsettled the car in my day.
Daniel Kochish is making his way through the Central Avenue section, still yet to set a lap time with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this session. Phil Bodkin is currently navigating turn 4, still searching for a lap time with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock. Through turn 5 goes Michael Faber-Harder, no time on the board yet, just under 4 minutes remaining in qualifying. Tim Weller is in turn 9, still pushing for his first time lap with only 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining.
Turn 9 is a tricky one. If you don't get the exit right there, you really compromise your speed down the following straight.
Daniel Kochish is through turn 1, still without a time, as the clock ticks down to 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
He needs to get a clean run in now. These last few minutes are when the pressure really ramps up to hook a lap together.
Daniel Kochish lays down a marker. A 1:45.741 puts him in provisional pole position with just 1 minute and 23 seconds left. Chris Stokes, holding P2 with a 1:45.238, is currently an impressive 0.01 seconds faster than his own best lap as he navigates turn 2. Bart van de Sande is flying. He's currently P1 with a 1:45.057, and incredibly, he's minus 0.15 seconds faster than that as he heads down Central Avenue with 45 seconds to go.
This is it, the final push for pole. When you're in the car and see that delta going green, you know you're extracting everything possible.
Phil Bodkin in P16, with a 1:47.996, is significantly faster through Strand Drive, minus 0.47 seconds on his best, with only 14 seconds left.
This is a make or break moment for him. That kind of delta late in the session, you're really pushing the absolute limits, trying to find every last tenth.
Chris Stokes, P2 with a 1:45.238, is lighting up the timing screens through Sunset Drive, an astonishing minus 0.46 seconds faster than his best, with only 22 seconds left. Nigel Walters, currently P18, is absolutely flying through Sunset Drive. He's an incredible minus 2.66 seconds faster than his 1:49.787, with 38 seconds left.
That's an enormous improvement. Either he made a big mistake on his previous lap, or he's just found something truly special in this final run.
Jareth Hallam, P9, is currently up by 0.11 seconds through turn 1, with 58 seconds left to improve on his 1:46.087. Michael Faber-Harder, P14 with a 1:46.491, is matching his best pace through turn 1, with 1 minute and 9 seconds still on the clock. Daniel Holland, currently P17 with a 1:46.905, is 0.46 seconds adrift of his best time as he navigates turn 2. Joshua Picton, currently P11, is struggling through Lauder Way, an astonishing 10.69 seconds off his best lap of 1:46.092 with 1 minute 47 seconds left.
That kind of delta usually means a big moment, perhaps a spin or a significant lockup. You're just trying to get it back to the pits at that point.
Welcome race fans to the streets of Detroit Belle Isle. The atmosphere is absolutely electric as we prepare for what promises to be an incredible race.
It's always a challenge here, particularly with that 12-knot wind today. You really feel that through the corners, trust me.
On the front row, starting from second, it's the Dutchman Bart van de Sande, driving that potent Mazda in the Pro class. And just behind him, in third, the UK's Mac McFarquhar, also in a Mazda, making it 2 Pro class drivers at the sharp end.
P3 is a great starting spot. You're out of the direct line of fire from P1 but still right there to capitalize on any early race chaos.
Making it 3 Mazdas in the top 4, it's Martin Mol from the Netherlands, starting from 4th position. 5th on the grid is Jimmy Lindo in another Mazda, but he's our leading M-class driver, starting higher than many of the pros.
That's an impressive qualifying effort for an AM driver. You're usually battling a bit further back against the pro talent, so Lindo has really shown some pace.
6th on the grid, it's Elliot Norton from the UK, piloting his Mazda as the leading Pro-Am entry.
In Pro-Am you often have that fine line between outright speed and consistency, and starting this high, Norton has certainly found the speed.
Down in 8th spot, another AM-class driver, Daniel Kosic from Hungary, also in a Mazda. From 9th position we have Greg Sabo from Italy, in the Mazda MX5 Cup car, another AM-class driver. Rounding out our top 10 starters is Jareth Hallam from the United Kingdom, in the Mazda MX5 Cup machine, a Pro-Am class competitor. Just outside the top 10, in P11, it's Joshua Picton from Italy, also in a Mazda MX5 Cup car.
P11 can be a tricky spot on the grid. You're right in the thick of it with cars around you, but it also gives you opportunities if the front gets bottlenecked.
Starting from 12th, it's Tim Weller from the UK, another AM-class driver in the Mazda MX5 Cup car.
Weller will be looking to pick off some places early, especially with a few faster class cars ahead of him. It's a good chance to gain track position.
2 rows further back, in 14th, we find Michael Faber-Harder from Denmark, driving a Mazda as an M-class driver.
From P14, the focus will be on a clean start, staying out of trouble, and then working forward through the race.
Next up, it's Nigel Walters from the UK, in 15th position, another AM-class driver in the MX5 Cup car. Rounding out our initial grid rundown, it's Neil Constable-Barry from the UK in 16th, an M-class driver in a Mazda. Next up, it's Daniel Holland from England, starting from 17th position in his Mazda, another M-class entry. From 18th on the grid, we have Adam Tias from the United Kingdom, in the Mazda MX5 Cup car, another M-Class driver. And the lights are out. We are green at Detroit Belle Isle, the 2021 race is officially underway. On the opening lap, Chris Stokes, who started on pole, has already dropped back to second position.
Dropping a place from pole on the first lap always hurts. You want to lead into that first corner, but clearly, someone else had a stronger start.
Joshua Picton holds his 11th place position, maintaining his starting spot through the opening corners. Daniel Holland has made up a spot on the first lap, moving from 17th up to 16th. Daniel Holland has gained a position on the opening lap, now running in 16th after starting 17th.
Even one position gained early can make a big difference. Holland has found some space and put himself ahead of someone.
Two places gained for Phil Bodkin on lap 1, moving up from 19th to 17th.
That's a strong start from Bodkin, a good early pass or two and he's already in a better track position for the rest of the race.
And staying with Phil Bodkin, he's made up another spot, now in 16th, and that puts him ahead of Neil Constable-Berry, who's just 0.2 seconds behind.
Bodkin is really on a charge, making those early passes stick. That 0.2 gap means Constable-Berry will be right there, looking for a way back, so he can't relax.
Our attention now turns to Martin Mull in 4th position on this opening lap. He's right on the tail of Chris Stokes in 3rd, just 0.2 of a second between them.
That's incredibly tight. Mull will be right in Stokes' mirrors, putting immense pressure on him. On a street circuit like this, a close following car can really force an error.
Martin Mull has made the move. He's now up to 3rd, but look at Chris Stokes, he's dropped all the way back to 12th position, over 3 seconds behind Mull. Now focusing on Elliot Norton in 12th, he's got Rich Snape breathing down his neck, just 1/10 of a second separating them. A dramatic change for Elliot Norton. He's dropped from 12th all the way back to 17th, and Rich Snape is now 5.5 seconds up the road in 12th.
That's a massive loss of track position in such a short space of time. On a street circuit, a small error or being forced wide can mean getting shuffled way down the order.
Chris Stokes is now in 11th, chasing Joshua Picton in 10th through turn 10. That gap is just 0.4 seconds between them. Chris Stokes has fought back, now up to 9th, and he's opened up a gap of 1.5 seconds on Joshua Picton, who's dropped behind him to 10th.
Stokes clearly didn't let that earlier setback get to him. He's found his rhythm and is starting to climb back up the field, showing that fight is still very much there.
Nigel Walters is in a tight battle for 12th, just 1/10 of a second behind Phil Bodkin in 11th. The gap between Walters and Bodkin has edged up slightly to 0.2 seconds, but they are still running very close in 12th and 11th. Nigel Walters has gained a place, now running in 11th, but Phil Bodkin is still ahead in 10th, and the gap has grown to 0.8 seconds between them.
Walters is still making progress, which is good to see, but Bodkin has managed to pull away a little. That half-second increase in the gap could be a critical buffer on a track like this.
Martin Mull, who was in 3rd just moments ago, has dropped all the way back to 14th on lap 2, now chasing Neil Constable-Berry in 13th, just 0.4 behind. Martin Mull has regained a spot, now up to 13th, and Neil Constable Barry is right on his bumper. The gap is 0. Tim Weller is running in 12th on lap 2, just 2/10 off Joshua Picton in 11th position.
That's a very small margin. Weller will be looking for any opportunity, and 0.2 seconds is often all it takes to get into the slipstream on a straight.
The gap to Joshua Picton has vanished for Tim Weller. He's now right on Picton's rear bumper, just 0.0 seconds between them. Elliot Norton in 14th is absolutely bumper to bumper with Neil Constable Barry in 13th, 0 gap between them on lap 3. Elliot Norton has made the move, now up to 13th, opening up a slight 0.4 second lead over Neil Constable Barry in 14th. What a start we've had here. The first few laps have been absolutely packed with overtakes and positions changing hands.
This is typical Detroit. The walls are always waiting and the narrow track just amplifies every mistake. I remember one race here where I barely made it through the first corner unscathed.
We've seen some big movers, both up and down the order. Martin Mull, for instance, went from 3rd down to 14th, and then back up a spot.
That kind of swing means something happened, either a missed braking point, a bit of contact, or just getting caught out by someone else's error. The key is to keep your head and try to claw it back.
It's incredible how quickly these drivers can adapt, making up those places again even after a setback.
Absolutely, the mental game is huge. You can't dwell on a mistake, you have to immediately focus on the next corner, the next overtake. That's what separates the front runners from the rest.
Joshua Picton in 12th is right in the hunt, just 0.4 seconds behind Elliot Norton in 11th on lap 3. Joshua Picton has gained a place, now in 11th, but the gap to Elliot Norton in 10th has grown slightly to 0.6 seconds. Tim Weller is holding on to 13th, but Jimmy Lindo is just a 10th behind in 14th. This is a real dogfight. A huge change for Tim Weller. He's dropped from 13th right down to 16th. Jimmy Lindo is now 10.8 seconds ahead in 13th. Greg Sabo is heading into the pits from 12th position on lap 3, a strategic stop this early in the race. Elliot Norton is flying up the field, now in 9th position through turn 2, just a 10th behind Martin Mull in 8th. Elliot Norton remains in 9th, but Martin Mull has extended his lead to 0.4 seconds and gained another place, now in 7th. We're really seeing the ebb and flow of this race, aren't we? It's not just about who's fastest, but who can keep it together for the duration.
Absolutely. You saw what happened with Mull, falling back and now pushing forward again. That's a test of nerve and car control. You can't just throw in the towel, you have to fight for every position, and believe me, that's exhausting.
And we had that pit stop from Greg Sabo, which feels quite early in a race with only a few minutes plus a lap left.
It does. That could be an opportunistic move, hoping to get clear air, or it could be a sign they were struggling with tire degradation. On a bumpy street circuit, tires can really take a beating, especially in the high-speed sections.
It's all about managing those tires and making smart decisions, especially as we head into the final minutes.
And the track is constantly evolving too, especially in Detroit. Rubber goes down, conditions change, and a good driver has to be able to feel that and adjust their driving style lap after lap. It's a constant recalibration.
Daniel Kosich is in 6th on lap 4, just 0.3 seconds separates him from Jareth Hallam in 5th, a very tight battle up front.
This is where the race really heats up, with only minutes left. Kosich will be pushing hard to make that overtake stick, but Hallam will be defending fiercely. It's about holding your nerve.
The gap between Kosich and Hallam has stretched slightly to 0.6 seconds, with Kosich still in 6th and Hallam in 5th. Joshua Picton is running in 10th on lap 5, just half a second behind Nigel Walters, who holds 9th.
Picton has some work to do if he wants to snatch that P9. 0.5 seconds is enough of a gap that Walters can defend, but not so much that it's impossible to close.
No change in that battle, Joshua Picton remains in 10th, still 0.5 seconds behind Nigel Walters in 9th. Phil Bodkin is challenging for 12th, just 0.2 seconds off Jimmy Lindo's bumper in 12th on lap 5. Phil Bodkin has made the pass, he's up to 12th. Jimmy Lindo is now right behind him, with 0 gap. Mac McFarquhar is running in second, still trying to close on race leader Bart van de Sande. That gap is 0.7 seconds on lap 5. The gap between the top two has edged up slightly, McFarquhar still in second, 0.8 seconds behind van de Sande in the lead.
Every 10th counts out here, and an extra 10th for the leader means McFarquhar is going to have to dig a little deeper if he wants to challenge for the win.
Daniel Košić remains in 6th on lap 6, 0.6 seconds adrift of Jareth Hallam in 5th. The gap between Košić and Hallam has come down by a 10th, now just 0.5 seconds separating them. Joshua Picton in 10th is closing on Nigel Walters in 9th. The gap is down to 0.3 seconds on lap 6. That gap has stretched out again to 0.6 seconds. Picton still in 10th behind Walters in 9th. We're seeing these gaps fluctuate so much, especially in the midfield, a few tenths here, a few tenths there, it's constantly changing.
That's because everyone is pushing at their absolute limit. You gain a 10th, then maybe you make a small error and lose 2. It's a relentless dance on the edge, and you're always checking your mirrors.
It's fascinating how quickly positions can be won or lost, even after several laps of battling.
Exactly, you can hold someone off for 5 laps, and then one little moment, one slightly different line, and suddenly they're through. That's why the concentration here needs to be absolute for every single corner.
And with just minutes left, plus that final lap, every move is critical now.
Absolutely, this is where you can't afford to be conservative. It's all about making those moves stick and trying to break the toe or get a buffer, especially with the limited overtaking zones here.
Tim Weller is in 13th, right on Adam Tiaz's bumper in 12th through Sunset Drive. The gap is just a 10th. No change in that intense battle, Tim Weller still in 13th, just 0.1 seconds behind Adam Tiaz in 12th.
This is proper nose-to-tail racing. Weller is clearly faster, but Tiaz is doing a brilliant job of defending. It's going to take a perfect move to get past here.
Mac McFarquhar is still chasing the leader Bart van de Sande through turn 9. The gap has come down to just 0.4 seconds now. McFarquhar has taken the lead. He's through to first, and van de Sande is now chasing him, just 0.2 seconds behind. Mac McFarquhar leads the race with 20 seconds to the checkered flag, but Bart van de Sande is right there, just a tenth of a second behind. Mac McFarquhar crosses the line. He wins the race at Detroit Belle Isle, an absolutely brilliant drive from third on the grid.
What a victory for McFarquhar, he fought hard for that, especially after losing a position at the start and then taking the lead so late. That's how you win races.
Bart van de Sande comes home in second, a strong finish after leading for so much of the race.
He'll be disappointed to lose that lead so close to the end, but second place from P2 is still a fantastic result, a really solid drive.
And Chris Stokes takes third, a rollercoaster of a race for him, starting on pole, dropping back, and fighting his way onto the podium.
Third place from pole, after that early tumble down the order, shows incredible resilience. He kept his head pushed when he needed to, and earned that podium finish.
Rounding out the top 7, we have David Constable Barry in 4th, Jareth Hallam in 5th, Daniel Košić in 6th, and Martin Mole coming home in 7th.
That's a strong showing for all those drivers, fighting through some incredibly tight racing to secure those valuable points at the finish.
Further down the order, Elliot Norton finishes 8th, Nigel Walters 9th, Joshua Picton 10th, and Neil Constable Barry 11th.
These are all hard-fought positions, especially considering how much the midfield shuffled around. Every one of those drivers earned their spot.
And crossing the line for 12th, it's Tim Weller, followed by Adam Tias in 13th, Jimmy Lindo in 14th, and Phil Bodkin in 15th. Daniel Holland crosses the line for 16th position, wrapping up his race. Welcome back to Detroit Belle Isle for the 2021 Grand Prix. The grid is set and the tension is palpable.
This is the moment all the drivers live for, that unique blend of nerves and pure adrenaline. I remember it well.
And on the front row, in second position, it's the Englishman Phil Bodkin, an M-Class driver in his Mazda MX5 Cup car. And in third, it's Jimmy Lindo, another M-Class driver, also piloting a Mazda.
Third position here is actually a prime spot to attack turn 1, you can really make up ground on the outside.
Following him is Adam Tias, from the United Kingdom, in the number 4 spot, also in an MX5 Cup car.
This M-Class battle is going to be fierce right from the start. They're all so close in performance.
Rounding out the top 5, it's Tim Weller, another British driver, in a Mazda. And in 6th, we have Neil Constable Barry, another M-Class driver, also in a Mazda.
This top 6 is dominated by the M-Class and Mazdas. It really speaks to the competitiveness of this series.
Moving back to 7th, we find Joshua Picton from Italy in his Mazda.
He's a bit of an unknown quantity in terms of class, but he's certainly earned his spot up there.
And in 8th, it's Nigel Walters, another UK driver, in the MX5 Cup car.
Elliot Norton in 9th is the first Pro-Am driver we've seen on the grid so far. That's an interesting mix.
Rounding out the top 10, we have Martin Mole from the Netherlands, a Pro-Class driver, in his Mazda. Just outside the top 10, in 11th, is Daniel Košić from Hungary, an M-Class driver in a Mazda.
He'll be looking to make up ground quickly, particularly with the Pro and Pro-Am drivers ahead.
In 12th, we have Jareth Hallam, from the United Kingdom, in his Mazda. And in 13th, it's David Constable Barry from England, also a Pro-Am driver in a Mazda.
It's always a challenge starting in the middle of the pack on a street circuit like this. Traffic can be a real issue.
Following him is Chris Stokes from England, in 14th, piloting an MX5 Cup car. And in 15th, we have Bart van de Sande from the Netherlands, a Pro-Class driver, in his Mazda. Rounding out our grid preview, in 16th, it's Mac McFarquhar from the United Kingdom, a Pro-Class driver.
It's interesting to see some of the Pro drivers starting further back. They'll be on the charge from the very first lap.
And we continue our grid rundown with Greg Sabo from Italy, in position 17, another M-Class driver.
Even from P17, with a good start, anything can happen. I've seen it countless times.
And the lights are out. We are green at Detroit Belle Isle.
Pure chaos into turn 1, everyone fighting for that initial track position. This is where races are made or lost.
Through turn 1 and Daniel Holland, our pole sitter, holds onto the lead.
That's crucial for him. He's got clear air and can start setting his own pace immediately.
Further back in the pack, Chris Stokes holds his 14th position.
He'll be looking for any gaps in the midfield traffic. It's so congested there.
And yes, Chris Stokes still maintaining that 14th position in the early stages.
Consistency in these opening corners can be key, especially when everyone is pushing so hard. McFarquhar already making moves, up 3 spots to 13th. What a start.
McFarquhar continuing his charge, now in 13th place, up 3 positions from his starting grid slot. And look at this, Chris Stokes moving up the order, now into 11th position. Chris Stokes has climbed another spot, now into 10th position, and he's right on the tail of David Constable Barry, just a tenth of a second separating them. Now we're on board with McFarquhar in 11th, just a tenth behind Chris Stokes, pushing hard on this opening lap.
He's posted a 1:59.687, that's a strong first flying lap from Mac. He's really trying to close that gap on Stokes.
McFarquhar has gained another spot, now in 10th, closing the gap to Chris Stokes even further, now just 2 tenths behind.
McFarquhar has made the overtake. He's into 9th, and now he's pulled out a couple of tenths over Chris Stokes. That's a decisive move.
Now we're focusing on Greg Sabo in 14th, heading through turn 5, with Adam Tias absolutely glued to his gearbox, no gap at all between them.
Szabo's last lap was a 2:01.029, and he's got to defend hard here. 0 seconds means Tias is breathing down his neck, probably looking for an opportunity out of turn 6.
Adam Tias has made the move. Sabo drops to 15th, with Tias now ahead in 13th and pulling a tenth of a second clear. Unbelievable, Greg Sabo has fought back, now in 13th. Adam Tias has dropped back to 16th, and the gap is now a significant 1.1 seconds.
That's an incredible turnaround. Sabo must have capitalized on a mistake from Tias or found a huge burst of pace there. From trailing to leading by over a second, that's a testament to not giving up.
Now with Greg Sabo in 14th, just 2 tenths off Chris Stokes in 13th, the battle is clearly not over for him.
And Sabo has made another pass. He's into 13th now, with Chris Stokes dropping back to 15th, over half a second behind him.
Wow, another big swing in positions. Greg Sabo is back to 14th, but Chris Stokes has plummeted down to 18th. A massive 10.1 second gap has opened up.
Something big must have happened to Stokes there. To lose over 10 seconds and 4 positions in that short time, that's a significant incident. Sabo, meanwhile, is pushing on.
Switching focus now to the front, Jimmy Lindo in 2nd place, just a tenth of a second behind the leader Elliot Norton on lap 2.
Lindo's flying. That 1:47.469 is his best lap and a very quick time indeed. He's really putting the pressure on Norton, looking for that lead.
Absolutely incredible, Jimmy Lindo has plummeted from 2nd all the way down to 8th. Elliot Norton, meanwhile, is still leading and has opened up a huge 5.9 second gap.
Lindo continues to drop. He's now in 9th, with Norton extending his lead to 6.3 seconds. Something's clearly gone wrong for Jimmy.
Back to the mid-pack, Greg Sabo is in 14th on lap 2, through Strand Drive, just 2 tenths off Rich Snape in 13th.
Szabo's pace is strong, a 1:50.484, that's his best, and he's clearly trying to regain some of those lost positions earlier. This could be another close battle.
Greg Sabo has made the move. He's into 13th position, opening up a 4/10 gap over Rich Snape, who's now in 14th.
He really made that overtake stick. That's a good clean pass, and now he's got a bit of breathing room before the next corner.
Now to the sharp end of the grid, Tim Weller in 3rd, just 2 tenths off Daniel Holland in 2nd on lap 2.
Weller's certainly on it. 1:45.464 is his best lap, very competitive pace. He's got his sights set on that 2nd spot, and potentially even the lead.
Tim Weller remains in 3rd, but he's closed the gap to Daniel Holland even further, now just a single tenth of a second separate them.
This is proper racing. He's right in the slipstream, looking for any opportunity. This next sector could be crucial for a move.
Martin Mull in 5th, through turn 3, just a tenth off Daniel Kocic in 4th on lap 3.
Martin Mull with a fantastic move. He's snatched 4th position from Daniel Kocic, who is now right on his bumper, no gap at all.
Now with Jareth Hallam in 10th, through turn 6, just 3 tenths back from Jimmy Lindo in 9th on lap 3.
Jareth Hallam is still holding 10th, but Lindo has managed to stretch that gap slightly to 4 tenths of a second.
On board with Mac McFarquhar now in 6th, through turn 11, just 2 tenths off Daniel Kocic in 5th on lap 3.
Mac's best lap is a 1:46.239, he's got the pace. He's really working hard to put pressure on Kocic here. This part of the track is tricky for an overtake, but he's closing in.
Mac McFarquhar has gained another position. He's into 5th now, and he's right on the bumper of Daniel Kocic in 4th, just 1/10 of a second between them.
He's made that pass on someone, but he hasn't quite caught Kocic yet. That small gap means he's still got work to do for 4th, but the momentum is with him.
Now with Daniel Kocic in 5th on lap 4, 3 tenths back from Mac McFarquhar in 4th.
Kocic remains in 5th, but McFarquhar has extended that lead to 4 tenths. He's trying to break the toe.
Martin Mull in 6th on lap 4, 3 tenths behind David Constable Barry in 5th.
Mull is closing in on Constable Barry. That gap is down to 2 tenths. He's really pushing hard now.
Joshua Picton in 13th on lap 4, 4 tenths off Nigel Walters in 12th, with just over 3 minutes left.
Picton's best lap of 1:46.216 shows he has the pace to challenge Walters, but he needs to find a way to close that gap consistently over a few corners.
Picton remains in 13th, still 4 tenths behind Nigel Walters. He's struggling to make up that ground. Now with Greg Sabo in 11th, right on the tail of Jimmy Lindo in 10th, just a tenth of a second between them on lap 4.
Szabo's pace is excellent, a 1:45.939, that's his best lap of the race. He's got a sniff of that top 10 and he's going for it.
Sabo is still in 11th, but Lindo has managed to open up a more comfortable 0.7 second lead now. Martin Mull in 6th on lap 5, through Central Avenue, just a tenth off David Constable Barry in 5th.
Mull makes the move. He's into 5th, and Constable Barry is right there, absolutely bumper to bumper with him.
We've certainly seen some incredible battles unfold already, haven't we? The mid-pack has been a constant hive of activity.
It has, and that's Detroit for you. No real room to breathe. I remember races here feeling like one long qualifying lap, just constant pressure.
Some of those position swings have been wild, drivers gaining and then losing multiple spots in just a few corners.
That often comes down to who handles the traffic best, or who's willing to take that extra risk. One small mistake can cost you dearly on this circuit.
Those tiny gaps, often just a tenth or two, must be absolutely grueling for the drivers.
They are. You're constantly looking in your mirrors, trying to place the car perfectly, knowing any error means an instant overtake. It's exhilarating and exhausting.
Greg Sabo has climbed all the way to 9th position on lap 5, just 3 tenths behind Daniel Holland in 8th.
He's really found his rhythm now. That 1:45.939 best lap shows he's got genuine pace. He's certainly on a charge up for the field.
Greg Sabo takes 8th position. He's just made a fantastic move on Daniel Holland, who's now right behind him, nose to tail.
That was a brilliantly executed pass. No hesitation. Sabo is really making his presence felt in this race.
Greg Szabo's drive has been something else today, climbing so many positions from the back of the grid.
He's definitely found another gear. Sometimes you just connect with the car and the track, and everything flows. That's what it looks like he's doing.
It's fascinating how the different class drivers are mixing it up so high up the order.
It means everyone is pushing to their absolute limit. No one's holding back, regardless of their official class. That's the beauty of it.
And on a circuit like Detroit, there's just no respite, is there?
None at all. Every single corner demands precision, every straight is a chance to gain or lose. It's mentally exhausting to maintain that for an entire race.
Now we're back with Phil Bodkin in 15th on lap 6, 5/10 behind Neil Constable Barry in 14th.
Bodkin's best lap of 146.767 shows he's got the pace to close this gap. He'll be trying to bridge that half second over the next few corners.
Phil Bodkin has gained a position, now in 14th, but the gap to Neil Constable Barry in 13th remains at half a second.
He's made up one spot, but now he needs to work on closing that gap to Constable Barry. It's not an easy task on this circuit.
And Phil Bodkin has dropped back to 15th, with Neil Constable Barry now well ahead in 13th, opening up a huge 5.1 second lead. Jareth Hallam in 16th on lap 6, just 2/10 off Phil Bodkin in 15th. Another tight battle shaping up. Hallam maintains 16th, still 2/10 off Phil Bodkin. No change in that battle yet.
He'll be looking for any slight error from Bodkin. With that close a gap, it's all about patience and picking your moment. You have to be aggressive but also smart.
Now with Chris Stokes in 17th on lap 6, 4/10 behind Jareth Hallam in 16th.
Stokes is still in 17th, but Hallam has managed to stretch that gap to 7/10 of a second.
The intensity of these battles further back in the field is just as captivating as the fight for the lead, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Every position matters. I've been in these situations, fighting tooth and nail for every inch, knowing that a single point could be crucial for a championship.
We've seen some real rollercoaster races today for drivers like Jimmy Lindo and Greg Szabo, huge gains and then sometimes significant drops.
It's so easy to make a small error on this circuit, and if you do, the pack is so tight that you can lose multiple positions instantly. Conversely, if someone ahead makes a mistake, you've got to be ready to capitalize.
With less than 3 minutes plus a lap remaining, every decision, every corner, is going to be magnified.
This is where the mental game really comes into play. You're pushing to the absolute limit, but you also have to be smart and clean. Fatigue starts to set in, and that's when mistakes happen.
Elliot Norton is absolutely cruising out front, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with a commanding 4.8 second lead over Tim Weller. And Elliot Norton crosses the line. What a drive, from 9th on the grid to victory at Detroit Belle Isle.
An absolutely dominant performance in the latter half of that race. To come from P9 and build such a lead, that takes real skill and consistency. Well deserved.
Tim Weller comes home in 2nd place, a strong finish from his 5th starting position.
He really pushed hard throughout the race. A solid podium result for him today.
And what a drive from Mac McFarquhar. From 16th on the grid, he takes the final podium spot in 3rd. Following them across the line, it's David Constable Barry in 4th, Daniel Kosic in 5th, Martin Mole in 6th, and Bart van de Sande rounding out the top 7.
Great recovery drives and consistent performances there, especially from those who started further back. A lot of hard work paying off.
And then we have Greg Szabo coming home in 8th, Daniel Holland in 9th, Nigel Walters in 10th, and Rich Snape in 11th.
Szabo's climb from 17th to 8th is a story in itself. Truly impressive racecraft shown today.
Finishing up the field, Joshua Picton takes 12th, Neil Constable Barry 13th, Phil Bodkin 14th, and Chris Stokes in 15th.
Every one of those drivers put in a solid effort. A tough race, but they all brought it home.
And finally, Jareth Hallam crosses the line in 16th, followed by Jimmy Lindo in 17th.
It was a difficult race for Lindo after such a strong start, but he finished it out. That's the main thing on a demanding circuit like this.